You ever open a technical stock report and your eyes just glaze over? It's just this wall of numbers and jargon that feels like it's written in another language. But what if I told you that hidden inside all that data is actually a really fascinating story?
Well, in this explainer, we're going to put on our detective hats. We're going to take one of these reports for one specific stock, and we're going to crack the case. We'll follow the clues, we'll piece together the evidence, and we'll figure out the secret story the data is trying to tell us about the stock SPCE. So, let's get started.
All right, here it is. This is our case file. It's the Technical Analysis Report for SPCE, pulled on December 20th, 2025. Our mission, should we choose to accept it, is to translate this thing into a clear, simple story. We're not just reading numbers here. We're looking for motive, momentum, and a verdict. Every investigation has to start somewhere, with one crucial fact. For us, it's this number, $3.50. On the day of this report, that was the stock's price. This is our "you are here" marker. Every single clue we uncover is going to relate back to this price. So first things first, we need some context. What's been going on lately? Is our subject on the move, or is it just standing still? In stock terms, that's the trend. We need to find out if the price has been heading up, down, or just kind of going sideways. And to do that, we got to look at its recent past. Now, this is where it gets interesting. We can think of these moving averages as the stock's memory. The 20-day and 50-day averages, its short-term memory, are at 367 and 379. Both of those are above our current price. That's a huge clue right there. It tells us the price has recently dropped. But, and this is a big but, look at the 200-day average, its long-term memory. That's at 341, which is below our current price. So even with the recent dip, it's still doing better than it was, on average, over the long haul. So what does this mean? It means our first big clue is that the story here, it's complicated. The stock's been in a slump lately, no doubt about it. But it's still standing on a pretty solid long-term foundation. It's basically in a tug of war with itself. Okay, so if we've got a tug of war, the next logical question is, how hard is anyone actually pulling? Is there a lot of force behind these moves, or is the stock just kind of drifting down? This is what traders call momentum. And our main gadget for measuring that is the Relative Strength Index, or RSI. The easiest way to think about it is like the tachometer in your car. If the needle's way up in the red zone, above 70, the engine is screaming. We call that overbought. It might need to cool down. If it's idling really low, below 30, it's oversold and might have some room to accelerate. So where's the needle for our stock? And here we go, our next clue. The RSI value is 47.48. As you can see, that's right smack in the middle of the neutral zone. The engine isn't redlining and it isn't stalling out, it's just cruising. This tells us that right now, neither the buyers nor the sellers have any real conviction. The energy is just balanced. Okay, so we know the trend is mixed and the momentum is neutral. But is anybody even paying attention to this? Is this whole tug of war happening in a quiet, empty street, or is it in the middle of a packed arena? We need to look for the crowd's footprint, and in the stock market, that means volume. The report gives us this number, 1.76. This is what's called relative volume. Now, on its own, that number doesn't really tell you much, but in context, it's a huge clue about just how many people have their eyes on the stock today. So what does that 1.76 really mean? It means that trading activity was 76% higher than average. Whoa! So this is definitely not happening in a quiet back alley. A lot of people are gathered around, watching, trading, and paying very close attention. Whatever is going on here, it's got a big audience. All right, let's put it all together. We have a mixed trend, totally neutral momentum, and a surprisingly big crowd watching it all happen. It's time to see how the report takes all these pieces and comes up with an official verdict. The report crunches dozens of data points, like the ones we've looked at, and it spits out an overall technical score. And the final number is 51.57. Just like our momentum reading, that score falls right in the middle of the neutral range. This confirms what our detective work has been telling us all along. This stock is in a state of balance. Or you could say, indecision. So if the stock is so undecided, what are traders looking for to break the tie? Well, the report gives us these key prices to watch. Think of $3.31 as the floor. That's the support line that buyers are trying to defend. Then you've got $3.64 as the ceiling, or resistance, where sellers are trying to push it back down. And right in the middle, that's the pivot point, $3.46. That's the main battleground. So let's just run through the case file one last time. The trend, it's in a short-term struggle. The momentum, totally neutral. Nobody has the upper hand. The crowd, it's huge. Way more people are watching than usual. And the verdict? A classic case of a stock that just can't make up its mind. It's waiting for something to happen.
So in the end, the secret story hidden in all those numbers wasn't about a big hero or a clear villain. Instead, what this report really paints is a picture of a stock at a crossroads. It's got a big crowd watching its every move, but it's just waiting for a clear signal to tell it which way to go next. We've taken the jargon and turned it into a story of tension and anticipation.
And that really leaves us with one final thought, doesn't it? We've successfully used all this data to understand the stock's complete story right up to this very moment. But that just begs the question, if all this data is based on what's already happened, what does it truly tell us about what's going to happen next? And well, that's the ultimate mystery of the market.